All right, and good morning and welcome to the Dales Report. Happy to be joined with an advisor of Creso Pharma and now chairman of the board of HighBrid Lab, Bruce Linton, back to the show. Bruce, happy Monday, and how's your summer going?
Wow, man, I don't know. You must be drinking stronger coffee than me. You got the juice today. I'm good, man. For the last Monday in July.
I know, isn't it crazy how fast time's going?
Yeah, well, it's the thing. Repetition, you get good at things. Like
Yeah,
stay in basement, do work,
yeah, I
rinse and
know.
repeat.
I know. I almost feel like time goes faster during this whole
Yeah.
COVID thing because you're working from home. There's no 9 to 5 hours. You step away, you come back, you do a little work at night, and all of a sudden you look up, you go outside for a barbecue, and oh, by the way, it's July
Yeah, my friend.
26th, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It,
Anyway, lots of news going on, obviously, with you and some of the business ventures that you're involved in. I want to begin first off with Creso Pharma recently completing the acquisition of Halucinex Life Sciences, which is a company working towards a phase 2 clinical trial reaching psilocybin for PTSD. So, do you have an idea as to when Creso expects to get into the clinic?
so, and that there's still some conditionality on licensing
Yeah.
and things. I don't think they can give you a fixed timeline, but the direction is right. Right, they're down east.
Yep.
They're tied into clinical. They're looking at soldiers, military background, how to manage this. So being in Canada for that, I think, is the right place. Do they get going in the next 3 months or 4 months or six? I don't think they can actually attach an exact timeline yet. But that whole Hallucinex deal is kind of like the whole reason I like Red Light and Creso together.
Yeah.
You start taking 21 products researched and approved for animals and humans made in Switzerland. There's
Yep.
Creso.
Okay.
You get Mernova, which is a craft grow with a real old school head grower down the East Coast. These guys know what they're doing. They're starting to get, if you need 22% or higher THC, they've got like a lot of strains that match that for listings and OSC and places like that. Then you start taking, our distributorship that we have already in Europe through Red Light and the whole truffle position. You start mixing in what else could we put through that distributorship. And then you look around and say, well, why is nobody in US THC, and why are we being so careful about like Oregon and some of these things? So maybe
Right.
because the exchange we're on with Red Light, you can be more aggressive than they could be on Creso and the ASX. So when you put them together, you amp up optionality. Cash in the account should be give or take 50 million on the balance sheet. So now you got a little thing happening in, I don't know, pick a US state where you could have a great brand build out and you could have some incremental revenue. Do you like a company with 50 million on the balance sheet? Highly liquid stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just see like part of the reason I got involved is I think we can amp up the aggression.
Big opportunity.
Level. Right. You can make deals and you can make things make more money, more value, more market creation, because we should be able to buy every dollar of anything we buy should be accretive to us because of how we're thinking and moving.
So this whole transaction pending approval looks to appear, as you said, on paper, a very favorable one with, like you said, 50 million in the bank. Where are we? I know I've asked this a number of times, but as far as the Chuck Schumer whole bill and everything, like what, like I hate asking this question because it's moving at a snail's pace. However, what do you think? And how does this all, I guess, come to fruition? Like, do we see changes in the next 6 months here in the US?
No, because like let's be sure we agree what a politician's job is. A politician's job is not to serve us; it's to get reelected.
Right. Yeah.
And so my analysis of getting reelected is that the current Democrats are elected and they don't got to be reelected for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Schumer made a move to position that they were the first active mover on a structured approach to cannabis. And that I think this can gets kicked around until we get close to the next election. And then they do a Trudeau, which they say, I promise if you get out of your house, get out of your couch, go vote. When I'm elected in this term, I will make this regulatory framework happen for cannabis.
And do you think it happens?
Well, I think they can. I think I think Schumer's could have been made to happen. You can put something forward to mark time, or you can put something forward to create progress. I don't think he was trying to go to the park. And so I'm of the view that we have another 3 more years at least of the current operating mode, which can be super good because there's a high profitability in certain states. There's a bunch of smaller states. There's going to be a bunch of states that change their status positively.
Yep.
So I think there's a robust market in the US. I wouldn't run after trying to buy like a big MSO because they trade at crazy multiples. But if you look at the multiples, a lot of the small THC guys profitable trade at, it's a fraction of the big guys.
Yeah, I know. I know, and tremendous opportunity still, right? Well, let's talk about that U.S. market and some of the news that actually transpired last week. It was confirmed that you will join the HighBrid Lab as chairman of the board. Congrats! Conditional upon shareholder approval and the closing of the merger. In our last interview, you said you'd become active in helping Red Light Holland and Creso Pharma growing once time commitments freed up. So what do you anticipate will be your top priorities for the new identity? And once you become, I guess, hands-on in the new role, how does this benefit both Red Light Holland and Creso Pharma?
Yeah, so it's Monday. I've been on a call already. I've got 3 calls today that relate to these guys.
Okay.
And so I've been on a call, and one of the things I was talking about is making sure so that when you put the pieces together, the first thing you want to do is create more value than you paid.
Okay.
So what is the sales plan for these products? What are the geographies they need to roll into? And then that fashions your next question. Is there somebody we should buy that is trading okay, but maybe they're already selling other people's products and they don't have their own? And so it's a diminished margin model. Maybe we buy them and put our own products through and make way more money. So you start using it as a consideration of what's an acquisition target. So that was part of this morning's discussions.
Okay.
But this deal, I assume, will close, we'll call it sometime in September. The key thing is, what do you do next? Because you want to integrate that. You got to have a plan. But I also think you got to start adding the other strategic pieces. And there's one little slice that you can think through and say, oh, like, so those Swiss products are really good. Yep. And they're not yet available in the Americas. Nope. And we don't have a person or a party or a company that makes them for us there. Nope. Now, if you solve that, you might want to buy the manufacturer. You might want to buy the sales channel, but you have Swiss-made 21 fantastically differentiated products, in my opinion.
Why do you think the product is better? Like if someone says yes, everybody says their product's the best, but why do you think it's good and strong? Because the sales, I assume?
No, it in part, but if you look at the team in Switzerland, it's a bunch of serious PhD people who've worked for 20, 30, 40 years in pharma, and they follow regulations and protocols before they make claims, and then they get them approved and recognized by the Swiss and EU authorities. And so now all of a sudden, like, you know that it's gone through the proper procedures. And if it's something like, if it's made in Switzerland and approved in Switzerland, that sounds like it could be a Rolex. Are Rolex cheap shit watches, or are they pretty good?
Right.
So like there's a brand of origin and a process that matters.
Okay.
So I think that's listen, now Japan's starting to get comfortable with CBD.
I know.
Marijuana. Do you think they like if it was?
I'm getting calls from guys from Thailand and in Asia. They're saying, hey, can you get me in front of this? And it's incredible how much it's expanding there as well.
Yeah, well, Thailand, and one of the companies I was on with this morning, they've just sold 2 of their pieces of equipment into Thailand. Like there's actual infrastructure build happening. It's no longer just talking about the military might run this. Things are happening.
Wow. Well, when we look at this new identity, you'll pursue multiple product categories, including recreational THC, CBD, as we just said, recreational psychedelics, and applied science psychedelics. So which of these categories do you think has the most revenue growth potential going forward? Is there one specific category you're particularly focused on?
Well, it depends if you're talking 3 quarters from now or over what time horizon. So taking really hard and great products that are CB principally driven from Europe and cranking the hell out of them in the US could be a fast rip. Then what you want to use is that income flow to say, well, what's a little longer tail? Well, maybe a bit more science on the delivery. So maybe you go back to the Halucinex guys and you work on the roadmap and say, what other 3 things we want? Maybe one of them's, a derivative molecule or a submolecule, and you license this stuff in or buy somebody. So what I like about this business is that it's like having multiple gears. You're not stuck saying, oh, I hope the rest of the world does what the Netherlands did. No. So I just think, but when Jamaica and Brazil and a couple of the other Caribbean islands decide to do more like, they've already done in the Netherlands, we're there. We got a brand and we're strong.
Where do you think we are? Psychedelics. There's appears to be obviously investor fatigue right now. I think a lot of people are mentally drained of hearing the words depression, anxiety, and PTSD, but there is some strong momentum building with some of the stuff that's developing with Compass and their research. But how do you think this whole industry performs on the back end of 2021?
I think the concept of psychedelics, people are fatigued, but I bet by the time we get to the back end of 2021, people start using more discrete words like psilocybin. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Questioning about LSD, not sure. Peyote, tell me more. But so we're going to have, I just think, a more rich vocabulary. People are going to be a little bit more specific about what they're in favor of and not yet sure about. And I think that's better because that allows for more sophisticated companies. and those ones which are just putting out nonsense. You know, oh, I'm going to dominate Canada for psilocybin. Well, great. Now that you got all 11 customers, tell me what happens next. Like it's an evolution of the opportunity that needs time and sophistication. So I find the conversation compared to 2 years ago, day and night different.
Yeah.
And
so
people are interested. They want to know, who could it help? Who has it helped? How do you know it helped?
Yeah. Good point. Wrapping it up, Creso Pharma, I'm a shareholder. When this merger happens, how do I stand to benefit, and what gets me excited?
I think what you start to see is synergies on overheads, more sales and revenue coming through than Renova generates by itself directly now. You start seeing the Swiss products move. You start to be part of a culture that's actually got no exchange hesitation, meaning the ASX doesn't make things like Halucinex take 6 months or a year, and that we can go where we want hard. And so I think when you got cash on the balance sheet, aggression as the intention, and everything's an option, that's a lot stronger than what they are now.
Great stuff. Appreciate the update. Let's keep in touch.
Okay, man. Be good. Thanks.
Yeah, you as well. Take care.